Tampa Bay Real Producers. We have our first guest for our podcast that you just heard us talk about, Mr. Keegan, Siegfried, and Roy, baby. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good to be here.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited. This is going to be, we're fired up about having you here, about this podcast. Looking forward to getting into your story, learning more about how you became a real producer.
Yeah. Wow.
As you can see, Keegan is a real producer, baby.
Yeah,
This cover of our last issue. This was actually our February 2023. Keegan and his team. We just had a cool event. It was fun to hang out with you guys. Where was that? At Embird, I think we were chilling.
Yeah, that was a real good time.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. We had a good time at Embird. Did a little Thirsty Thursday happy hour, and then we have our awards banquet coming up too. So hopefully we'll party with you guys there as well. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
So we're gonna dive into your story. The objective, really, again, of these podcasts is just to kind of figure out the behind the scenes, right? The juicy information that we don't always get a chance to capture in the magazine.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are out there that would love to be able to be a top producer, and we know that there's certain things that we usually can find out during the interviews that the magazine just doesn't really have a chance to allow us to dive into. And so the podcast allows us to do that. So I mean, we can dive right in. You ready to roll?
Let's do it.
So, I mean, we usually just get started a little bit with your background, a little bit about your story. Did you grow up in Tampa Bay? Where'd you come from? How'd you find yourself growing a business here in the Tampa Bay market?
Yeah, man, I'm from Kansas.
Look at you.
No Tampa. I'm a Kansas boy.
You a Wizard of Oz fan or what?
Yeah, everybody says that, man.
Yeah, right. I can imagine.
Tap the shoes, right?
Not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
No. Moved down here when I was 21, so 11 years ago now. And had no idea I was going to get into real estate, and just kind of fell into my lap. I remember working at Nordstrom's at the time, and this guy came in and, you'd be great at real estate. And just kind of took him up on the offer a couple months later, and that was it, man. I got really lucky with the mentorship.
Okay.
And who it was.
And that guy, I think, Stuart Hurry, right?
Yep.
And so he was in the game at the time.
Oh, yeah. Long time.
And was he focused on residential real estate? Is that how he took you under his wing, or what was the first thing you started learning?
Yeah. First day on the job, I learned the debt to income ratio.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that, because I'm like, Stu, this is financing. Isn't it the lender side? I thought we were doing real estate.
Right.
He's like, no. If you don't know this, you're just going to be like every other realtor. And I think back to that all the time, because it clicks, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
He just knew how to separate himself rather than just being average. And the longer I do this, the more I see the value in what he gave me.
That's awesome. I mean, the last thing you want to be is just another realtor, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of them, right?
No doubt. So that's cool, and I think it's critical. One of the things that comes up a lot at our panels and things that we host is the importance of a mentor.
Yep.
And how critical that is for somebody who might be newer in the game, who's trying to become a real producer.
Yeah.
Whether that's a team that they're hooking up with, or just finding that one person that you vibe with, that is willing to share. Somebody who's obviously getting results. Sounds like your boy really was a huge impact in getting you to where you are today.
Dude, he was an amazing impact, and honestly, I've taken that and I've replicated it and I've systemized it to where we are now a place of mentors for people that are getting into real estate or have been into real estate and aren't finding that success. Now we have a group of mentors to literally take these agents under their wings to pass down the knowledge that was given to me that I've given to them.
It's awesome.
And so it's been a really cool, almost like a sports analogy, like a farm system.
Yeah.
Almost,
Yeah, I know that's something Keegan's really passionate about too, is the team building.
Oh yeah.
Side. Paramount Home Group is the name of his squad. If you're not familiar with them, we don't talk a ton about numbers here, other than we only bring on the top producers. But Keegan and his team did over $75 million in volume last year. They are producing, right? They're making a lot of big things happen in the Tampa Bay market. Tell us a little bit more about. So you hooked up with your mentor. What year was that again?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how long were you kind of working with him until you got going on your own and started building your own thing?
I was with him for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yep. And didn't really set out to build a team or anything like that. It kind of happened on accident. My best friend, who you see in the magazine, Richard, he came on board with me right away, and I trained him the same way that I was trained. And then I realized very quickly, whoa, I have a knack for training agents. Like, I could do this. And then I started seeing agents come to me and be like, hey, can you train me? And then it really happened organically. And once the light bulb went off, it clicked. And I'm like, okay, now I need to take a step back out of production and really get these agents going. And it's been I don't want to call it smooth sailing, but man, it's been an upward trajectory ever since.
Yeah, so I mean, you definitely put your time in 3.5 years with your mentor and just shadowing, watching, learning. I mean, I think some people get a little itchy to get off on their own, maybe sooner than they should, you know?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you really invested that energy and that time to really learn a lot of the ins and outs of the business.
Yeah, I always tell people I feel like I got a double doctorate in real estate in 3.5 years.
Right.
And you know, I understand the itch, but it was worth it all day long. All day. That's
cool. That's a great takeaway. I think there's probably people out there that are maybe working and already thinking about going off on their own. And, you know, I don't know what made it, at what point did you know you were ready and it was time?
I think I didn't even try to make it the right time. It was something that we came at a crossroads, and it was it was I don't want to say forced, but it was just once that crossroads hit, it clicked to me that it was time.
Gotcha.
You know, it wasn't something that I was itching to do.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And has the journey been fairly consistent growth since you went off on your own? Have you had some ups and downs in the process so far? I mean, I'm sure you've had challenges that we'll dive into.
Dude, I'm knocking on this wood right now because every year it's an upward trajectory. I've only grown each year, and I hate to say I should really say we, because that's really the point of it.
For sure.
But yeah, every year it's been growth.
Very cool. That's good to hear. So this last year then must have been your best year, huh?
It was the best year so
While
far.
some people were out there complaining about the market and struggling about this and that, you were out there just getting things done, getting deals signed, huh?
Yeah, I mean the agents were. You know, I've been really spending a lot of my time trying to provide value to the agents versus being out there with clients myself.
Yes.
But yeah, they were out there producing and making things happen, and it's been awesome to see.
Very cool.
Because it's not just a me thing. I am seeing these agents grow year over year over year.
And how many agents do you have on the team now?
15, 16, not including myself.
And that's kind of grown as well over time? Yeah.
Yep. You know, I'm really not a big numbers guy when it comes to agent count, but more so agent quality.
No doubt.
You know, I'm not looking to hire 100 warm bodies. I really want the right people that have the right mindset. You know, growth again. I want them to see that potential where year over year over year they continue to that upward trajectory.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. What in your eyes makes a great agent? Like what are the characteristics, what are the traits that you're looking for in somebody who you might want for your own team, or even that you admire from afar that you know is crushing it in other organizations and other teams? You know, what makes a real producer in your eyes?
Personality and work ethic. You know, personality can't be taught. People want to work with people they like and people they trust. And in order for them to trust you, you have to have the work ethic to learn it, right? So real estate isn't rocket science. It can be taught. It can be taught at a very high level. We've proven that. So if you have the personality where a lot of people will like you, that's step one. That really can't be taught.
Yep.
I mean, there's some psych stuff that can go into that. But really the work ethic. You know, if they have that work ethic, they're going to have that ability to learn.
And so from your experience, I mean, you've been in the game now for years. And so do you think that the agents who struggle out there, is that really just what they're lacking, is just that work ethic? Or is it they don't really know where to put the effort in? Or is there a confusion element? What do you think really holds most people back?
Lack of direction. Yeah, that's an easy answer for me. Lack of direction. I see it all the time. You know, I talk to agents all the time. Even, you know, at some of your panels, you know, agents come up to me and, you know, I'll just ask them a couple questions, and it's easy to see they just don't have the right direction. They're in the wrong place. They don't have the right mentorship. You know, that mentorship's really important. Mm-hmm. You know, they go into these big box brokerages, and, you know, they go through these classroom training sessions and, you know, call the FSBOs, call the expireds, go knock on doors. And like, that's like the classic, you know, that's the classic book. Yep. And it's just, it's not enough.
You're going to face some rejection when you're doing those things, right?
I mean, you're always going to face some rejection, but I mean,
how you deal with it.
If you want to be great, you need to surround yourself with greatness.
No doubt.
That's the simple fact of it.
Tony Robbins is always preaching proximity is power, right?
There you go.
Who you choose to surround yourself with, that's really going to make the impact on how you think, how you act. When you're put into these situations, when you're under pressure, how are you going to respond when that pressure comes, right? And a lot of times, if you see somebody else respond in a certain way that is the right way, you're more likely to emulate that. Than if you're just trying to like do it alone and figure it out on yourself. It's just it's lonely out there on someday Isle where you're wondering about someday I'll get good at real estate, someday I'll get good at calling FSBOs, someday I'll get good at door knocking. Partner up, hook up with someone who's crushing it, doing it right now, and then you can see what it's like, right, to really get it done. So I think that's critical.
I tell everybody that. Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more too about your story. So you came here from Kansas, right? Big difference between Tampa and Kansas, I would imagine, huh? You still go home a lot?
Twice a year.
Do you? Families up there?
Yeah, families back there.
Okay.
Little bro, little sis are at KU, Rock Chalk.
Okay, have you gone to the games up there? They're all about basketball in Naismith country, right?
Reigning champs, baby.
There you go. Did they win last year?
They did.
They did.
Down
they did.
15
They did. I'm a Connecticut guy, so I grew up north. UConn has been my squad for years, but I kind of got away from following the college basketball scene over the last few years, to be honest. But UConn's been down for a little while now, so
they have.
I lost my interest, but I guess in Kansas you could never lose your interest when it comes to hoops,
it's not
right?
allowed.
I get that. I respect that. So you came here to Tampa, and what's your story now? Are you married? Do you have kids, family?
Not married, one kid, a little baby girl.
Little baby girl.
Yep.
That's awesome. You said 5 months, is that right?
10 months.
10 months now.
Yep, 10
okay,
months.
so you got your hands full.
Yes,
there you
very
go.
much so.
There you go.
Yep.
I mean, I can relate. I got 5 kids, as you know.
I don't know how you do it, man. I'm going to need your notes.
I have a great wife. That's how I do it. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
She takes on a lot of the heavy lifting. We all need that in our lives for sure. So it's been a blessing. So have you had any struggles with like this transitioning part of your life with your newborn and business and balancing all that, or has it been nothing but unicorns and rainbows for you?
I'd be lying, and every parent that would ever see this video would tell me I'm a liar if I said it was rainbows.
Right.
No, man, it's a juggling act.
No doubt.
Again, I couldn't imagine 5, but even 1, running multiple businesses, working, 5, 6, 7 days a week, putting in 40, 50, 60-hour weeks. It's a lot, but you know what? I'd rather be doing this than flipping burgers.
Yeah, amen. Amen. That's why we're here talking about how to be a real producer, right?
Yeah.
Keegan is an entrepreneur at heart. He has multiple businesses. We won't talk a ton about them, but I know you have a mortgage company. I think you also have an insurance company, if I know correctly, right? Yep. Real estate, though, I believe is your passion. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, that's my baby. That's my family.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. That's kind of the culture that I've created around it too. So
why do you think it is? What is it about real estate that you just find so exciting and passionate about it? Like, why is this something that drives you?
What we do allows us a certain freedom that a lot of places of work don't allow. Realtors, we have the ability to do what we want, where we want, when we want, right? Within reason, but we also get to do that while working with others, working with people. It's not just, go into a cubicle and hide. You are literally working with people every day. You're helping people. They say that, the best wealth in the country is built through real estate. Yeah. Right?
That's what they say. More millionaires, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Have developed because of real estate than any other industry.
So why would we not want to be a part of that?
Makes sense to me.
Sounds fun.
I mean, if you want to make money, I guess, but maybe that's not for everybody. But I think for a lot of our real producers, they do care about it, so it works.
Fun, money, those things are nice to go together.
Yeah, and it is fun too, isn't it? I mean, for most people, it's the biggest investment they're ever going to make in their life, right? Buying a home, selling a home. So that's a huge deal. And being that person that can coach them through it, consult them through the process, which is generally a fairly emotional process for a lot of people. So I always joke around with the agents that we've interviewed that being a great agent is just as much being a psychologist as it is knowing the contracts, right? And the numbers. It's a people business. It's learning how to manage different emotions of the high-strung buyer and seller to the person who's very analytical, right? Yep. I'm sure you come across all types.
All types. Yeah. Really learning to master the craft so you can deal with all types and do it at a high level, truly be that real estate advisor. I've called a lot of realtors door openers before, and that's just not enough. Like, if you can truly advise your clients on what the best decisions are, letting them make the final decision, but if you're a real professional, you know what's best, right? I mean, it's their family, not yours, but you're looking out for their best interest. And when they see that, they appreciate it, they trust you, they love you. And what happens afterwards is a relationship is built. And then that's where the fun really happens.
For sure.
You know, I can't tell you how many times I've done things after closing. Like I've gone to Costa Rica with clients. I've gone to the bachelor parties. I've gone to the birthday parties, the baby showers, the weddings.
And I've seen you party, so that's not light.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, though. I mean, it really is about. That's where the repeat business also comes in, right? So just treating people right.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a great book out there I'll throw out to plug Joey Coleman. It's called Never Lose a Customer Again.
Yep.
And a lot of systems and principles that he talks about in that book are about building a business so that it's not such a transactional relationship with your clients, right? Understanding that every client could truly represent countless others, and viewing them through that lens of like you're truly there to serve, right? And if you are, which I think that's a common trait that I pick up on a lot of the people I've interviewed, it's pretty cool to see that servant's heart is a big part of what it takes to be successful.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, in the
100%.
game. Yep, makes a lot of sense. So can you think of like one specific challenge, Keegan, that you know that you've faced in your journey here? I know that there's going to be different people watching this episode, some that are going through some challenges right now, some that are just crushing it and loving life in real estate, some who maybe are even thinking about leaving the business, right? Or not sure if it's really for them.
Yeah.
Can you think back to a time where you really doubted, the process, yourself, maybe something happened and you weren't sure how to respond to it? Anything come to mind?
The first one is when I doubted it is 3 months into my career, my lights went out because I couldn't afford them. And
that's a moment.
That was a moment. Yeah. I was sitting in the 1-bedroom apartment as a 22-year-old kid, like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And but thank God I stuck through it. Right.
No doubt.
Those kind of things humble you. But biggest struggles other than that was what to do next.
Yeah. What
to do next? How do I get to the next step? I'm doing 3 deals a month. How do I get to 5? I'm doing 5 deals a month. How do I get to 7? Now I'm, it's a little bit of a flip. So I'm helping agents do this, but how can I do it better? How can I do it better? And I think that is the constant challenge. And I feel like I'm one of those people that thrives off that. I like that pressure. That pressure makes you grow, and
it's what creates diamonds, right?
It is. Yep, I've heard that a time or two.
No doubt.
But yeah, that pressure is something that's needed. I had a real good friend of mine. He told me, if you're not getting butterflies in your stomach every day going to work, you're too comfortable.
Yeah.
And so now every day I get these butterflies, and I'm like, crap, man.
It might be what you ate for breakfast.
Yeah, right.
I love that, though. I mean, there's so much truth in wanting to get out of your comfort zone, and I think when you're not growing unless you're doing that,
Yeah, 100%. My current mentor, Robert Palmer. I remember sitting down with him.
Another RP.
Yeah, another RP. Yep. But I remember sitting down with him a couple months ago when we first started talking, and he's like, if you want to do this, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Yeah. And I looked at him and I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good mentor right there.
I want to be uncomfortable. And I do the same thing with my people. Something as simple as putting them in front of the entire team during a Monday morning meeting and making them do certain things that, like speaking or, hey, talk to me about the market as if they were the client. It's uncomfortable. It's pressure. It's not something that you're doing every day, but the more uncomfortable you get, the more comfortable you become being uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. And that's how they grow.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
it
how
really
we all
is.
grow.
Couldn't agree with you more. I want to go back to one thing. You mentioned that moment when you couldn't pay the blight bill, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important to highlight something, though. Like, how many times does that happen to somebody? And that's the genesis for them quitting, right?
All the time.
Leaving the business.
All the time.
And the fact that in that moment, you could have quit. You could have looked at it and said, dude, this isn't working. I mean, I can't even pay my freaking light bill, right? But, I'm sure you probably had that thought. We all have those thoughts in those moments. But you chose to, I'm still going to have faith, right, in the process. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to keep doing what I know needs to be done, and eventually it's going to turn around. There's a quote that I'm a big fan of, which is that in your moments of decision, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something like, in your moments of decision is where your destiny is shaped,
Yeah.
Right. And I have a similar story. I'm not going to go through it right now, about a moment in my life where I got a paycheck that was for $13.40. And I remember this paycheck like it was yesterday. And it was my first sales job. And I just remember looking at it like, I just busted my ass for $13.40. Like, I remember thinking, this is wasting my time, right?
Yeah.
I didn't quit, just like you didn't quit. And my whole life is different and changed because of that sales job turned into a 12-year career for me that changed my life. And to this day, I wouldn't be in Real Producers if it wasn't for the connections that I had through that job.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing how a moment like that changes your whole life when you really understand it and you allow yourself to just get through it, when you believe in your journey and your purpose. So I applaud you for that. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, speaking to new agents out there, your first year is probably going to suck.
Yeah.
It's hard. You know, I call it the suck year, you know, because you're drinking from the fire hose. You're trying to learn everything. You know, it is very, very difficult to learn every nuance in this business. It takes years and years and years, but that first year is tough, and that's typically when agents quit. You know, I mean, what's the dropout rate? Like 85% after a year and a half?
Yeah.
I think it's something crazy like that. And you know, that there's multiple factors to that. You know, a lot of it is the direction that I talked about, you know, or the lack of. But you know, just that mindset of, hey, I'm going to get through this. Right? It's tough.
It is. And that's really where you might need a mentor to just knock ideas and be honest and be vulnerable with them. You know, and I don't know if your mentor was there for you in that moment or if there was a role like that. But I do think that it's critical to have that person that you can go to and be like, dude, I'm thinking of quitting, and I don't know if I can do this. Right. And just have an honest conversation. And sometimes that person can really be your guardian angel, so to speak, to get you through it.
Yeah. And they've done it before too.
Right.
Like most mentors have been in that position. I love the fact that I had my lights go out because I can say, hey, I have been there before, right? Hopefully no one's lights ever go out, but you know, I want to get people to a point where they don't ever have to worry about a bill again.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's really our mission here. That's why we're here right now doing this podcast. Is the goal of Real Producers is we want more agents becoming real producers.
Yes.
That's what we're here for. There's over 15,000 agents right now that did at least one deal last year in Tampa Bay. Right, we're talking about
Pasco, Pinellas.
Those three counties. Yeah, the Tri-County. That's who we serve: Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco County. So the data would show you that a little over 15,000 agents did at least one deal right last year. But then you look at who the top 500 are, and there is a vast majority of those 15,000 that only did one deal, right, or two or three. If you really look at the list, top 500 producers, or like yourself, are people that did at least 15 million. Last year, and then broke that top 500. So our mission, and we have different things to help us do that. We hope this podcast will be a great tool to help educate and inspire and hopefully elevate top agents, or not top agents yet, to become top agents, and maybe even elevate top agents like yourself to pick up a nugget. Hopefully you just met J-Mac over here. I mean, that could be a great dynamic and a relationship that who knows where that mastermind could go, right?
Dude, it's amazing. You know, now I've shifted my focus when, you know, I'm coming across, you know, I'm walking into his office, and, you know, immediately it's not like, oh, who's this person I'm competing with? It's, dude, how can we make each other better?
How can we collaborate?
And that was immediate. And I love coming across people like that. Doesn't matter what brokerage or who they are. It's how can we come together to make each other better, because we have those same pet peeves. We want agents to succeed. We want to be able to have our agents deal with good agents on the other side of a transaction. Because when you have two good agents on a single transaction, one list, one buy, like, dude, that's a smooth transaction.
Money.
Yeah. Any agent out there that's worth anything, they know how painful it is when they have to deal with an agent who doesn't know what they're doing or is incompetent on the other side. And then you end up having to do the job of both. Right.
I hear that all the time, by the way. And the people that I talk to, is part of the value, I think, of what we try to bring is the idea that your deals go smoother when you have some relationship with the agent on the other side, when you know that they know what they're doing, when you've met them at an event or you've talked to them in some way. And so I think there's a huge truth to that. And then I also think even yesterday at our panel that we had a panel yesterday at Whiskey Cake talking about, it was a panel of rising stars. And one of the things that we discussed was the idea of sometimes if someone is newer in the business, they might need that help, and they might be on that side of the table where Kristen Arsenault was one of the people, shout out to her on our panel, who talked about in her first deal, she had to talk to the other agent about how I don't know how to write up a contract.
Right? But that's awesome that she was willing to do that.
She was humble enough to have that conversation.
Instead of being embarrassed about it, she was humble enough to have the conversation. And the agents on the other side that do know what they're doing, if they come from a place of education and help, it makes everything go so much smoother. Sometimes you see a little bit of that.
For sure.
A little bit of head knocking, but for the most part, if you can come from a place of contribution, come from a place of education, come from a place of help, not just for your clients, but for other agents, man, life gets good.
Yeah, I love that, bro. That's a huge theme that we've been harping on, is this idea of collaboration versus competition.
Yeah.
Right? We all know we're not naive to the reality that real estate is a competitive game. Mm-hmm. There's only so many buyers and sellers out there, even though there's always opportunities, and it's about pivoting and finding your strategies that are going to work for you.
Yeah.
But from a mentality standpoint, when you are a cutthroat, competitive agent where you view everybody as the enemy,
yeah,
in my experience, I just don't see that many people who think that way who end up being wildly successful, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the impression I've had of interviewing hundreds now of top producers.
That's not going to be my mindset.
Yeah, I don't get that vibe from you at all.
Yeah, no, not at all, man. The cutthroat competitive, listen, if my agents are, working with a client who worked with another realtor previously, well, that's what we train them for.
Right.
We don't train them to go take other clients, but we train them to provide enough value that clients will see that they should work with them over somebody else.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So
and it's funny how it really does start with the mentality first, right? Because if you don't think that way, then you're not going to do the action steps to match that up from what you just described.
Yeah.
If you had to take an agent who, whether they were brand new or let's just say they're underproducing, right? Mm-hmm. And the goal in your mind, somebody on your team, I'm assuming not every agent on your team is a top producer yet, but I'm assuming you as the leader, your goal would be to help them get there, right? What would be maybe 2 or 3 little bullet points that you would want to harp in on and focus in on that you think would be necessary for someone to start developing the right habits to become a real producer?
Your language, number one. You got to know it. You got to know what you're talking about. You have to master your craft. Consistency is another one.
Yep.
Real estate, I talked about, we have a lot of freedom. At the end of the day, if we're being real honest, most people are terrible at being their own boss.
Yeah, freedom could be a curse.
Yeah. So consistency and the mindset of just wanting to do better each day. You hear football coaches all the time, let's get 1% better each day. And if you're consistent with it and you have that right mindset and you have the right leadership that's guiding you to new heights, to show you things that you've never heard of before.
Yep.
Right. I can't tell you how many times we have people that we invite to our Monday morning meetings. They come up to me afterwards, and they're like, "Dude, I just learned more in the last 2 hours than I have in the last 2 years." It happens on a regular basis.
Yep.
And it kind of surprises me, but at this point, it's become normal, just because it's like, when I step outside the box, it's like, okay, we really are providing something that other people are not.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And it's funny, man. You would think that every team leader, every broker would provide that level of support, right? I mean, at least I feel like there's a huge niche there. There's an opportunity in this game for just better leadership. One of my boys, Ryan Owens, was just talking about that, right? The idea there's a need for some leadership, not only in real estate, but I think in business, period. And, it's funny. There's just so many agents out there that are kind of there's a void of that.
It's a big pet peeve of mine. I've talked about it with some other people in a closed room, and I got
we're a closed room right now, man.
Yeah. Well,
it's just
listen,
us two gals chatting, man.
I got a little bit of a story. I was out in Orlando, big team. I was talking to them, and I was sitting with the team leader at lunch, and they lean over to me and they're like, "Listen, if I can get my agents to do 18 deals a year on average, I'm ecstatic." And I was taken back. I'm like, "Well, hold on. Your expectation and your training, it sets the expectation for them to do 18 deals on average a year." Don't get me wrong, that's good for a lot of agents that are out there, but if that's the expectation, those are some low expectations, man.
Sure.
To be honest with you,
and I wonder where he got the number 18 from. I think it has something to do with his commission expectations.
It could be. I don't know. I didn't really dig into it, but like as soon as they told me that, it kind of turned me off because I'm like, okay, like I want more for my agents,
right?
You know, I don't want just that. Like let's level up, man. Like 18 is good,
right?
Let's get to 36. Let's get to 40. Let's get to 50. Let's get to a point where we have to hire you an assistant.
Yeah,
you know,
let's
get to a point where now we're going to build a team for you.
Yeah. I mean that's what everybody wants, right? Is they just want to know that there's a path to grow.
Yep.
And I think the leader's responsibility is to provide that path. Like, what is it? And everybody's path will be different.
Yeah.
Right. One agent who wants to be you is going to want to build this mega team and grow it, and that's their mission, that's their passion, and
I'm
great
not
leader.
Sure I would recommend that.
In terms of what?
I mean the stress. You know, let's be honest.
You mean it ain't easy?
It ain't easy.
People look at you like he doesn't even work, man.
Yeah, no, that's no. I mean, I've had some agents sit in my office and be like, I want to do what you do one day, and I'm like, are you sure?
Right.
But no, there are going to be people that do have that drive, that do see it, and maybe they realize it later on after they've been in real estate for a little bit. And but you're right. As long as they have that path to get there, that's all that matters.
Right.
And somebody to show them the way.
Yeah, vision is critical, huh? You got to have some clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, a good leader is going to hopefully help their people have that vision, and there's different ways to get there. But if you feel like you're struggling and you don't have the vision, then that's a great place to start anyway, is figure out a way to get it.
Yep.
Get that clarity of what you want, right?
Yeah.
One of my mentors taught me years ago, like, if you don't know what you want, you're just going to end up anywhere, right? And at the end of the day, that's usually not where you want to be. It's just anywhere, right?
I was a little bit at fault at that. I had no idea what I wanted, and somehow I ended up here. So
yeah.
I'll attribute a little bit of luck to that. You know?
Well, I think we kind of make our own luck sometimes, don't we? If we work hard enough.
Okay, well said. We do make our own luck.
Every now and again.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people being lucky when they're twiddling their thumbs, just sitting in front of a, eating bonbons, watching TV all day. So not a lot of luck from that.
Maybe a lottery ticket, but that's about it.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been that lucky yet. I don't know. One of these days, we'll see. I should probably start buying more of them. I don't know. We're going to probably, let's see, a couple quick rapid fire type questions just to kind of get a couple things about you and tell a little bit more of the audience. Who is Keegan, right? So, favorite book, author, seminar, anything come to mind that has been impactful for you?
I hate to say this, but I haven't read a book since I was 17.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't want to know where I read that book.
Okay, we'll keep that a secret then, I guess. So I guess that's no favorite book, right?
Yeah.
Author, seminar. Is there anybody who's been impactful for you? Even on, I know you already had your mentor. We talked about him. Would you say that's the guy?
Him for sure. I've said Robert Palmer already, but that he's as of recently been a huge help in moving forward.
I got you.
Yeah, for
cool.
sure.
Yeah, and so has that been more on the mortgage side or just all around?
No, real estate side for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, mortgage is completely separate, man.
So I know he's crushed his mortgage side for years.
Yeah, but he's crushing the real estate side too, man. And that's the part why I'm there.
Very cool.
So,
favorite food?
Sushi.
Yeah. There's a lot of good sushi restaurants around here.
There is.
No doubt. What are some things that you just like to do for fun? Like when you're blowing off steam, hanging out with the family? What are some hobbies and interests?
Sports.
Yeah?
Sports all day, man.
Die-hard sports fan?
Yeah.
You got a favorite team?
Ravens.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you get that from Kansas?
Before Kansas, I lived in Baltimore when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
Yep. So when I started playing football at 6, the Ravens were in Baltimore.
Have you seen that Bullies of Baltimore 30 for 30?
I have, man.
That's a cool one, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a Giants fan, so I kind of grew up seeing the opposite side of that in 2000 when they got shellacked by the Ravens.
Yes.
But
here in Tampa.
It was right here in Tampa,
Yes.
No doubt. Right down the road, baby. Yeah, absolutely. But that was I actually went to the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl in Arizona, Super Bowl 42, the undefeated season one. So that was kind of a highlight of my sports experience.
Good
for
seats.
sure. 25 rows up, 40-yard line.
So good seats.
Yeah, no doubt. It was. I'll never forget it, man. It was. Yeah, I mean, we really lucked out. Undefeated. How else are you ever going to see your team beat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl? I mean, that was a lifetime experience for sure.
Yeah.
So Ravens fan, and anything else come to mind as far as we wrap up the episode that you'd like to share just to the audience in terms of you'd like to leave them with when you think? Well, here's a question I always like to ask: when you are wrapping things up in the real estate game, you're a young dude, so maybe you haven't thought a ton about this yet, but have you thought about, or if I put you on the spot now, what would you want your legacy to be? what would you want to be known for in the real estate game, or just maybe in life in general? What's the legacy of Keegan Sigfried going to be?
I helped agents become better agents. That's kind of a bland statement, but I really, really, really want to be able to help these people that have the potential meet that potential. And that's why I say, like, most of them fail out because of the lack of direction. And so I want my legacy to be that I created an environment for agents to thrive in and continue to grow with no cap, with no hitting a wall and I have no place else to go. Like, I want to create that environment. And I feel like I've created that environment, and now it's just, how do I perfect it every single day?
Yeah, bro, I think you're living it right now. I met a lot of your team at the M-Bird event, and it's obvious they love you.
I love them.
You've created a great culture that they are responding to, and it was cool to kind of just see you guys in your element, in your dynamic, and being able to celebrate some of the successes that you guys have had. So I want to thank you for coming today. Man. I mean, those copies are yours, so bring them back to the office, hang out with the squad. Hopefully we'll see you at some of the upcoming events
for sure.
That we have coming out with Real Producers. We're going to be signing off here for this episode. So I'm looking forward to our next one, which you'll be able to see on all the different podcast stations that we have rolling around here in Tampa Bay and beyond. And I guess I got to come up with my own little tagline, but I hear I'm the maestro for top agents in Tampa Bay. I don't know. Do you like that one? The maestro?
No. I like that. I agree with that, man. I really do.
Yeah, well, it's fun, man. I love what I get a chance to do. It's really a blessing and an honor to be able to just hang out with people like you and learn your stories, man. I'm a big fan of telling stories. So
that's what we're doing.
I guess it makes me a good dad. I get to tell some stories at home with the kids, but this is a platform that allows us to do that. So I want to thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate it.
You. Yep.
Peace. Later.
All right, guys.
All right. How long was that? About 35?